All right, guys, so this is a follow-up regarding a story about Mr. Frederick Joseph, who is a race pimp, a career race pimp who makes money off of crime, racism, and victimhood. Basically having an interaction that hurt his feelings in a dog park in New York City, in which a white woman allegedly told him to, I guess, stay in his hood or to go back to his hood or something like that. Now, I'm going to play this video again so you guys are reminded of kind of how this interaction went down.
Stay in our hood? No.
I invite everyone.
Stay in our hood? Stay in our hood. That's what, I'm sorry, what? Stay in our hood? Stay in our hood. You just told us to stay in our hood? You just told us to leave the dog park and stay in our hood.
Oh my god, did you just say that to me? Shit.
Wow. Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
The Karenism, the white.
I'm sorry, you were right here, watch this entire thing. Did she just not stand here and tell us to stay in our hood?
She did.
You just told us to stay.
So yeah, that's how the interaction went down, right? And you know, this guy, he went on social media because he got offended by what she allegedly said. Okay, remember, there's no context to what actually happened, what was actually going on there. It was just his side of the story. Yeah, he went on social media and he doxed this person, right? He doxed this girl, got her identity revealed, and then subsequently had her fired from her company because her company is woke, right? So the company didn't even take time to investigate, to look into the allegations, to see if that's what she actually said, to get her side of the story. None of that. They just fired her automatically because of something that this person said, right? That alleged. Okay, now they had a whole bunch of people on the internet going after her, you know, sending her, messages, calling her racist, doing all that, right? Woman's life is destroyed essentially over this accusation of racism. Now, Miss Emma Sarley, which is her name, has now spoken out about this, and she is giving her side of the story, right? And I want to read what she's saying and to, kind of give her side of the story to add more context, and then kind of give some commentary to close off this story, right? So let's go ahead and read here Emma's perspective on what happened. Quote, I am still processing everything that has happened over the last couple days, and I thought it was important to share what I saw and experienced. I absolutely accept responsibility for how I could have handled things differently in that moment. On Saturday evening, I watched a dog get into several aggressive altercations with other dogs at my local park. And as the owners of this dog were leaving, I suggested that they keep a handle on their dog while visiting this particular park. My reference to back to your hood only referred to another dog park outside of this neighborhood park. I was frustrated and upset, but to be clear, I had no intended racial undertones in my comments whatsoever. I said it because it is an unstated rule at our local park that when a dog is being aggressive, owners immediately remove them so it can be a calm, welcoming environment for everyone else. However, I fully understand how my words could have been interpreted and deeply wish I had chosen them more carefully. A brief and thoughtless moment in my life has led to nationwide outrage and hurt. For that, I am sorry. I want to clarify that I never threatened to call the police. I never went on a tirade as the dog owners followed me down the street with the phone camera on. I was filled with some panic because I've never been in an altercation like this and reacted in an inappropriate way. That's what you witnessed on that tape. I've lived in New York City for a decade. My Brooklyn neighborhood and dog park is extremely diverse, something I truly love about the city, and I never meant for my words to contribute to pain for anybody. I truly hope we can find understanding and a peaceful resolution to this for everyone involved. Okay, so you guys see her, apology there. Now, I'm not sure about you guys. I'm not sure if everybody feels the same way about this as I do, but that apology to me signals that this was basically just a run-of-the-mill interaction that she had with some random person in a dog park that really are interactions that people have every day with each other. When I go out in public, sometimes, you're going to have interactions with people that are going to be somewhat hostile, right? You're going to have some confrontation, okay? But this was a very minor confrontation that resulted in her basically telling the black dude and his fiance, I guess, hey, stay in your hood. Okay, go back to your hood or whatever over I guess his dog being aggressive. And I definitely can see in my head how this kind of went down. Right? His dog was probably aggressive. She probably got a little, frustrated and pissed off. And she probably said something to them about the dog. Right? Now, knowing these guys, right, the race pimps and how fragile he is as a man, he probably got upset about it and probably started popping off at the mouth at her. And then they probably both got an altercation. And then at that point, she probably said, go back to your hood or whatever, right? And that's probably what happened. And I guarantee you, if he actually had recorded the whole thing, I guarantee you he probably said words to her that probably could be deemed offensive. I guarantee you, there's no doubt in my mind. There was hostility from both sides, right? And, just reading what this girl is saying and learning more about her background and the fact that, she was working for a company that appears to be woke and living in New York City, I guarantee you this girl is probably a liberal, right? She's probably a liberal. Now, that doesn't mean she can't be racist, because I talk about racist liberals all the time, right? Doesn't mean she can't be racist, but I guess what I'm saying is that if you look at the context of everything, can we automatically assume that the go back to your hood comment is racist, right? Can we automatically assume that? I don't think so, because that's one of those things where, she could be one of these people that she uses slang, right? She talks in a way in which she says stuff like that. Because if she were to say, go back to your neighborhood, all of a sudden, a lot of people say, well, that's not a racial undertone, right? The whole racial undertone thing wouldn't be there. The only reason people are saying that it's racist is because she shorthanded neighborhood and made it hood. And that could literally just be the way that she talks, right? I mean, there are white people that do talk like that. There are white people that do use slang and that talk in that way, right? Again, doesn't mean that they're racist. It just means that that's the way they talk. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just want to point out a couple more things and then I'm going to wrap this up. First, the left defines racism as a power structure, right? They say that, well, white people are racist because they have power. Black people can't be racist because black people don't have power, right? Racism is a power structure. That's how they get around, them being able to commit acts of racism without actually being accused of being racist, because they believe that black people are powerless and they're victims, right? But tell me, who has the power in this society when you can literally just dock somebody and make them lose their life simply from an accusation of racism over a video with no context whatsoever? And the most racist part of the video is the fact that the white woman in the video used the word hood, right? Only because she used the word hood did people consider it racist, and you ruin her life over that, right? You have the ability to make her lose her job, right? You have the ability to conjure up a mob to go after that person. And then you can turn around and play victim and boohoo and cry and complain and say, oh my God, I'm so traumatized. My trauma, my hurt, my pain as a black person. Who has the power in this country when you have the ability to do that? Who has the power in this country? Right? To me, it seems like this guy may have power, right? It may seem to me that this guy may be the one that's a racist, right? If you define racism as a power structure, it may be seeming that he's using his race privilege to exert power over another individual who seems to be powerless, right? That's what it seems like to me. Like, something is wrong when woke revolutionary number one, Nicole Hannah-Jones, is saying that, yo, this don't feel right, right? This ain't right. Something is off about this. And this is why, this situation is so frustrating to me, because we should not want to live in a world where routine interactions like this that may be, a little bit testy or whatever, these interactions shouldn't lead to people losing their livelihoods, right? These interactions shouldn't lead to people losing their jobs and being doxxed on the internet. It shouldn't lead to that at all, right? These are interactions with us as humans. If we're ever going to solve the so-called race issue, which, I mean, hey, I'm losing faith in that every single day. I'm not sure if it's a solvable problem, because there are people like this guy right here who make a living, playing victimhood in regards to race. But if we're ever going to truly solve the problem, we can't have microaggressions like this end up in people losing their livelihoods, man. Again, I've had worse stuff said to me than this, and I did not go this far with this. You know what I'm saying? Way worse stuff. But this man pushed it to the extreme. He took it all the way to trying to ruin this person's life over a interaction that probably happened very, very quick, in which both sides were probably hostile towards each other if you actually had the real footage. So again, these same people that claim they're trying to solve racism, to me, they're making a whole lot more people in this country more racist, man. They're making a whole lot more people in this country upset and mad and pissed and feel that they're being persecuted because of these types of situations. And that's, again, not going to lead to good race relations. The left in this country, guys, they seem to be the biggest racists in this country because they're allowed to get away with anything, right? In the name of victimhood and the fact that my ancestors were oppressed, right? They're able to just get away with anything. And it seems to me that, if I was white, bruh, I wouldn't even want to interact with black people. Why would I? It's too risky. It's too risky. I mean, shoot, why would I even want to hire black people? Because it seems to me that I could be putting myself at risk of having some interaction with a black person and they just automatically accusing me of racism. So why would I even want to deal with them? Why would I even want to be around them? You see what I'm saying? These same people that claim to be trying to end racism, in my opinion, are really going to make it a lot harder for a lot of black people in this country that are not like this. It's going to be a lot harder for them to get jobs, right? To work with other white people. Because, again, if I was white, I would be very careful about how I interact with a black person. I probably wouldn't even want to be around one. Because it's like, I just don't want to take the risk of being accused of being racist. Because my whole life can be ruined if I said something like, if I use some slang, right? And I think my final point is that she worked for this company, Bevy, that appears to be a woke company, right? They talked about how they need to increase their diversity and how they care about, the woke cause and all this stuff. And I guess, again, this is just an example of, be careful who you work for, right? This day and time, you have to be cognizant of your company's political beliefs, right? You got to be, if they're super woke like this, you got to be cognizant that, if you do something or if somebody accuses you of racism or something like that, that company will just fire you right off the spot. And they won't do any investigation. They won't stand behind you. They won't give you a chance to prove your innocence. It's just done, right? Your livelihood is just done because they're afraid of the mob as well. Right. And there are a lot of companies out there like that that's afraid of the mob. And it's unfortunate that she happened to work for a company that was afraid of the mob. So, you got to be careful who you work for this day and time. And again, it's a shame that even has to be a consideration. Is this company going to stand up for me if I'm accused of something outside of work like this? Because this stuff is happening to a lot of people, man. And don't get me wrong, guys. I mean, listen. Some people may feel differently about this than I do, but if there are real incidents of racism, I will call it out. And I've done that on my channel multiple times. There was a dude, a city councilman that said the N-word, the hard ER, called it out. When that dude, I think was in New Jersey, was confronting, black people in his neighborhood and saying the hard ER, I call that out, right? If there are real instances of racism, I will call it out. But we can't be doing this thing where every little microaggression that occurs between black people and white people is turned into some type of racial incident. We can't do that. That's not the country that we can live in. Otherwise, again, we might as well go back to segregation because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So, anyways, I just want to follow up on that. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.